Do you have money that I can borrow to go to the hospital? I have an 8-year-old grandson who showed up one night at our house. In addition, he was obviously limping. Walking is an hour journey from his house to ours, if they are even adult. What on earth happened? I peered and blood was trickling out from everywhere, all the bare area of his body. My grandson slumped over, eyes vacant, and looked like he was about to pass out from fatigue and pain. Absolutely not lending. And my husband yelled at the poor child. This makes him mad, so he goes elsewhere. From there then the surprise that my husband still brought me. I shook in every corner of his mind. My name is Helen, and I am 60 years old and living with my husband. Our son and his wife live in a nearby city, so it is only an hour walk to our house. We need a car as the train service is terrible. Linda, my daughter-in-law, is 6 years younger than Brian, and they have an older minor 10-year-old son named Daniel. Well, my son Michael used to come over a lot with his son, and I have been keeping Aunt since he was little. My daughter-in-law hardly ever teen spear, though, and I told my son to bring him over. But it appears that Linda was worth giving housework and child-rearing away. She had time for herself as of now. And my son commented that Linda was domestic as a bunny and took care of us. He appeared to be quite content with the way things in their marriage were at present. Everything else from this point on is, even though I am a mother, none of my business. But I said that to myself and left them in peace. But never did I think that such a tragedy would hit later on at that moment of time. That is when 6 months back my promotion came and then decided to work abroad. Michael, because he was a loving father who didn't want to be parted from his family for even one moment, wanted out of Britain with them. But his wife had something to say about it. Daniel is already going to elementary school and he has friends. It's cruel to transfer him. My son, of course, tried to talk her into it. Anyway, due to his wife's push and the heaviness in his heart, he left for overseas alone. Unfortunately, though during the same time period, Daniel stopped coming to our house. Asking over and over, we'd said let us see Daniel, but every time Linda would come up with some reason why no we could not. Yet I could not let go and on the phone pleaded with her to allow us most effective moments along with him. Well, Linda of course got pissed off and started yelling at me. I hate having to worry about you guys when my husband is not here. Do you want to monitor me? No, I don't mean that. I just want to see Daniel's face for a few moments at the gate. Aren't you aware that I don't want to be like this? If I say a word you keep on wearing it, and I will tell Michael to give you lashes with cane. The very minute she said that, the call ended on me. Nothing I can say will give hope. Well, perhaps that is just what my daughter-in-law would be like. My son had emailed me to say that work and sleep were tough for him in the new assignment. I did not want to alarm Michael anymore, so I decided to wait until he got back home. Already half a year, I had long forgotten that I saw Daniel for the last time. While we couldn't visit with Daniel, my husband and I looked at photos of him every day for comfort. A photo of Daniel's entrance ceremony, the favorite of Robert. Edgeworth said that Daniel's scared appearance was adorable. At around 9:00 p.m. we heard the doorbell ring, and I opened it. Aminullah, can you borrow me money to go hospital? What? A second later, my 8-year-old grandson is there. What happened? I was upside down in the car and thought, my foot hurts, I can't sleep at night. Tried to go alone on a trip by myself. But this is it. When Daniel slowly unclenched his hand, there were 3 dimes and he promptly across for the bus. My grandson apparently walked all the way here in agony for an hour. I fell on the way. My grandson had both knees raped and bleeding. I had puzzled over it for a long time, but still could not understand. I attempted to ask Daniel inside and have an open ear for the story he finally told me. My husband, who had said nothing and showed no interest at all in the issue before that place and time. Absolutely not lending. What are you talking about? Are you okay? Our grandchild is in such a mess. Furious at the stiff response in Robert's face, my hand went flying to his shirt, and I shook him roughly. My hand was twisted by my husband so fast and hard he didn't even say a word, just hopped up like Satan in the night ran out of house. I am sorry that I came here. I'll go home now. My grandson completely deflated and walked away from me before finally putting a hand on the doorknob leading out of their house. Daniel, who is reeling from the fact his grandfather has betrayed him, I would properly take you to the hospital, so do not fuss. I rang an ambulance and also attempted to call my daughter-in-law, but she did not pick up at all, and even the message was unopened. The ambulance did not arrive for another 20 minutes. They took my grandson to a hospital close by, and I went with him. The doctor diagnosed you with a contusion. Then he was offered a treatment and advised to rest at home. What in the hell is Linda doing now? Still unable to get a connection to call my daughter-in-law, by this point I decided it's in the best interest of me take grandson home with me. Do you want something hot to drink? Honey tea, thinking of which you did like. Well, let's prepare now. Daniel, go sit in that chair and wait. The moment I arrived home, boiled water. At that time, my grandson ran over to me. Oh my goodness, you need to be still. No, Grandma, listen to me. And Daniel told me the hard truth at that time. My grandson, who had admitted to everything, was in tears. I see. It was hard, but you can rest now. I almost hugged him to gently contain his being. Then an unexpected event from an unlikely source came my way. Daniel will get his payback on the guys who made him hurt this way. So the flames burned angry in my soul. My daughter-in-law picked up the phone at midday next day. Seki broke his foot and was looked over at the hospital. Daniel is now at home. Seemingly, if we allow him a rest at home with some nutritious food, he will bounce back. What, please lets you babysit Daniel for a whole. You must be glad you'll finally get to babysit your grandson a lot since you hardly even got to see him until now. I told her okay and ended the call without another word. If Linda had even called 10 times in a row right then and there to tell me I could pick Daniel up tonight, he would not come back to that house. I was determined to stay close with my new Hanson, so that really worked for me. Till I was furious at her being such a mother, yet not so to get me stuck there. Then I dashed to and fro fulfilling punishment in aid of my grandson, followed by, it was done. Watch me. This day I shall force them to scream. A week after Daniel came to my house, I was a passenger alongside someone who drove me to their daughter's husband's place where we broke into the wife's home, leaving Aunt Honey at our residence alone. What's going on? You came sudden as if it's something big. My God, I'm in trouble. Please go back. The key to their house I'd borrowed from Daniel. Linda was yelling, but I yelled back and then checked the room. I thought there was somebody here until a few moments ago. It was basically clean enough, but the bedsheets in one of the bedrooms were uncharacteristically disheveled. Please stop it. I'll call the police. Oh, Linda, need you indeed ask. My grandson told me everything. You get him out of your hair and go play at night. I almost got him to promise not tell a soul or anything, it was so difficult. The other day my blood-tearful story told me was actually this. Now Daniel told himself one night while he was sick and alone in his apartment with a cold that would not quit. Maybe just once you need to stop your mother from going out. Nevertheless, you have forced Daniel and went away to play. He fell and twisted his ankle. For an example, my grandson was always told by her mother not to say like, greater than what's Dad scolding you for at home. because you will miss meals otherwise." But then Daniel had reached the end of his tether on that day, and he figured who better than his always sweet-natured grandparents to take care of him. He used his memory to find our house and dragged his sore foot back home. Buy a hospital for my grandson if you had money to buy branded items. In the closet, which was covered with a cloud of bags and clothes, obviously more expensive than my life. My grandson had told me that his mom got a lot of nice clothes and bags, but she didn't care about him. I had a hunch that Linda's possessions were littered with tacky luxury items. Michael's absence had been making me lonely. I was just taking up shopping to keep the loneliness at bay, so your son contributed too. Linda pointed at me, and then came a deep voice from behind. "Shut up. I was there when the affair scene happened." These words came out of the mouth of my husband, who was one who said them. The day my grandson had come to us for help, he was the one who had stormed into Linda's house and taken me with him. Robert shouted that he wouldn't lend money and went somewhere. Initially, I was somewhat irritated by the way Robert was carrying himself. But at that moment, his anger was with Linda. He was too mad and spoke in it by then without recognizing he did. Here he also got Linda's after leaving our home. "That was the last time I saw you. You were entering a car driven by some guy." Besides, it was obvious that the person with Daniel in elementary grade 1 as their teacher. But my husband remembered the face of his teacher, who taught in that class at that time because he watched Daniel's group photo during admission every day. The real event someone told me about after my grandson confessed was a clandestine meeting Linda had with one of his former homeroom teachers. The air, though, even told him, "You know that you wear low-cut tops to parent-teacher conferences and hit on me like a whore with your hand in my pants." Going off my husband's testimony, I drove to Daniel's school and spoke with his past homeroom teacher. The affair partner said he knew it was not right, but when Linda gives in to temptation, he should. And at the worst, when Daniel's year moved off and they split up his class on auction day, the former homeroom teacher confessed that she would have settled out of court without a fight. He already resigned himself to live on his hometown and not see Linda again. "Grace, you said you did it for the kid, but who was telling them to stay in America because she wasn't going to be around without that man?" "No, that's not it. My daughter-in-law didn't take Daniel to the hospital because she was afraid he would say that her injuries were from something else, and they came after his. He needed the ICU, and she did not take Daniel because my son, who loved his wife very much, wanted a baby of his own to raise away from us all." Then, having likely sensed the truth in my last guess, Linda could no longer feign indifference and began to glance furtively about her. Then, after a pause, she said, "But I'll cry and plead to Michael." Then she opened up. "He's so in love with me." "Linda, stop it." "Oh, Michael, when did you come back?" My son had already been told everything, and he immediately ran back to the house in order to see things with his own eyes. Michael had hidden in the shadows, catching everything because he knew that was Linda's game. By being there, she could have pretended to be somebody else. "I heard everything. I can't forgive you anymore. You treat Mom so terribly. I'm divorcing you." "Wait a minute. A moment of weakness is all it was. Plus Daniel is 8. He needs his mother, period." Daniel said he had described his mother as a crap mom and that now he met Daniel. The wife even apologized and wished he would come back, lastly from my son a final punch. But my son was making no efforts to go, and the wife gave me a look of hate unspeakable and showed her teeth. "You son of a bitch, you made him leave me. How are you gonna be accountable?" "It's your own damn fault," his critic told him, "and I heard that you said Michael was a meal ticket to begin with." I had been phone snooping on her via the wedding guest list to see if she'd done anything nefarious. "And now I'm going to tell your parents." "Stop it. My dad hates crooked things." My parents will hate me if they ever find out about this. Then who is going to look after me? You're all grown up. You should have to do something for your living. I absolutely hate that. All this time I've only lived life as a housewife comfortably, and all of that behind Michael can work. Now because the scented miser. Never had I seen my husband and son so dumbfounded over someone else's sense of entitlement. Might as well suffer a little bit and learn the lesson. Get on it, can't you do something? I'll apologize. I really think I was wrong. Now I can only rely on my mother-in-law. Eventually, she was crying, sorry, and I just looked at her, then said nothing. That is until she began yelling, over and over again, "I'm so sorry. Please help me." Daniel, you had to listen before Linda. Thinking only of yourself was too selfish. Her face turned white, and she burst into tears when I said that. Then I kicked her out of the house. My anger was so strong, because what meant to me was taken away. Then my son and daughter-in-law got divorced. I personally went to his ex-wife and demanded $30,000 from her as compensation. Then I did the same thing with her former homeroom teacher, a fair partner, but asked for a measly $10K because teachers make shitty money. His ex-wife also worked and used all of her savings until she was fired shortly after our meeting as a consequence of her selfish personality. She works part-time in roadworks and cleaning. My son has to return overseas for work, however, will make an effort to see Daniel. We will care for our grandson until Michael comes back. We are very happy and hope that we were actually able to recover from before. I am restoring fill this void in my previous articles, Daniel.